Welcome, kid, to this Election Day Patriotic Kid Time Story Time. Yay! Today is a very important day. Oh, yes, Red Bear? Yes, because today we decide the future. Yeah, and the future is me. Remember, you told me I get to be vice president. Yeah, I remember. I might have also promised that to Pink Bear. I'll sort it out later. Okay, but today is just election day. This is not appointment day. Today, we have to decide the big office. This is no ordinary day, no sirree, Bob. A star marks this date on the class calendar. Through the window, we see grown-ups coming and going to our school. Something important is happening today right here in our town and all over the USA. Something so big, it will shape the future. It will go down in history. Today is Election Day! I feel like there should be an echo effect. We aren't old enough to vote yet, but we are all future voters. We know about Election Day. Today on Election Day, the excitement started early. Television newscasters reported on the election while I munched on my breakfast. On the way to my school safety patrol job, I passed signs with the names and pictures of candidates. Candidates are the people running for office, like Julia here. Our crossing guard stayed extra busy this morning. She stopped traffic for us kids as usual, but also for construction workers, restaurant servers, and a pilot. I saw people in suits, running clothes, uniforms. They drove, walked, jogged, pedaled bikes, steered a wheelchair, and pushed strollers all on their way to our school. That's because today our school gym is set up as a polling place, a place where people vote. That's true. Is your school a place where people vote? A lot of schools are. In some towns, people vote at a town hall, the library, even the firehouse. I even know a place where, oh yeah, in my old neighborhood, I used to go vote at a school that was also a church. Our country is set up as a democracy. That is a system of governing that allows citizens to choose their own leaders. It's pretty amazing to know that that is what is happening in our school today. Look at that. Vote here. Vote aquí. Oh, it's in Spanish too, for the bilinguals. Today, on Election Day, voters will choose the next president of the United States. I'm our class president. And, oh, there's a future voter, Meg. Here's Aiden. Here's Ren. I'm guessing that we're talking that Meg is a class president. And it's an important and very busy job. Imagine being leader of a whole country. Candidates for president usually come from two main political parties, the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. You might see each party's symbol, a donkey for the Democrats and an elephant for the Republicans. And you might see that on signs, bumper stickers, political cartoons. Sometimes candidates from other political parties are also on the ballot. On the ballot means they are running for office too. There's a donkey and there's an elephant, the symbols of the parties, and the red, it tends to be the Republican color, and the blue is the Democratic color. Whether they are running for president or for a local office, candidates and their supporters will run a campaign. The campaigns are designed to gain popularity and votes for the candidate. Campaigns also give candidates a chance to share their ideas with the American people. See, that way, there's the reporters reporting on what the candidate is saying, and it's getting out so that everybody could hear, not just these people here, but it gets out into the wider public so everyone can make an informed decision because they know what this person is all about. Campaigns can be expensive. Candidates and their supporters may create signs and commercials, host rallies, and plan appearances to meet the voters. Choosing the president is a big decision, but it's not the only decision voters might make on Election Day. Oh no. In some states, voters will choose a governor, the leader of their state. Some will choose members of Congress, like senators or members of the House of Representatives. So much will be decided today. Today on Election Day, men and women all over the country will cast their ballots, which means they will vote. That's just another way of saying it. But women, did you know, weren't always allowed to vote? And long ago, other citizens were kept from voting too. I know because I wrote a report for our class website. At one time in our country, white men who were rich enough to own property were often the only people allowed to vote. Through the years, people protested, no. And they protested against these voting rules and won. In the late 1800s, Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Susan B. Anthony, and others called for women's voting rights. In the mid-1900s, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. worked to protect African Americans' right to vote. The efforts of these and other citizens eventually led to new laws called amendments to the U.S. Constitution. Today, people are allowed to vote, no matter their gender, race, or how much money or property they have. That is what a democracy is all about. Today, on Election Day, my big brother Jake will vote for the first time. He turned 18 this summer and he registered to vote. He takes his responsibility as a voter seriously. Jake read about the candidates in the newspaper and on websites. He talked about the election with his friends. One night, he watched a presidential debate on television. During the debate, a moderator asked questions to the candidates. Jake said watching the debate helped him decide which candidate's ideas he liked the best. Jake also learned about other issues on the ballot. He's especially interested in proposals about the environment and education. And look, there's Jake zooming past. He's going to take me with him when he goes to vote. Look, there he is. Oh, wow. Today, on Election Day, my grandpa picks me up after school. We head to the polling place at the gym. Now I can see for myself how voting works. Inside the gym, I see fitness posters and a big basket of playground balls. There's also a row of stands with curtains. Oh, voting booths. We line up for our turn. A poll worker checks a voter registration list and my grandpa's ID. She smiles and points out an open voting booth. Nobody knows who you vote for unless you tell them, because in the United States, what we have is known as a secret ballot. My grandpa's been a voter for a long time. He says he remembers when he used to vote by pushing down levers on a voting machine. He also recalls a punching card and even marking a paper ballot. In some places in our country, people actually still vote in those ways. Today, my grandpa will cast his vote by touching a computer screen. This is a very modern way, and not all the places are doing it like they said, but everyone eventually will probably get computerized because that's the future and technology is part of the future. When Grandpa touches a box next to his choice of candidates, a check mark appears. How cool is that? After my grandpa's finished voting, there's a check mark. Oh, he voted for Julia. He touches the screen once more so his votes will be recorded. His votes will be tallied. That means counted up with all the other votes cast by millions of United States citizens today. As we leave, an election volunteer gives Grandpa a "Voted Today" sticker. He proudly puts that sticker on his jacket, and he should be proud. He is helping the democracy flourish. Today, on Election Day, my Aunt Julia hopes to be elected to our city council. As councilwoman, Aunt Julia will work with the mayor and other council members to improve our town. She'll help make important decisions, like whether the new town park should have a soccer field or a playground. No, there's Aunt Julia. She's watching the results on the screen, and here's her party, her supporters. They're all hoping for good news. I helped Aunt Julia with her campaign. I even helped her design signs. I think she'll make a great councilwoman. We find out tonight if voters in our town agree. My parents and I gather with Aunt Julia and her supporters. Everyone is excited. All evening, we watch a big TV screen as the newscasters report on the election results. Suddenly, my mother pats me awake. "Good news," she says. "Aunt Julia just found out she's been elected." My eyes pop open. Hooray! Hooray! I hear from Aunt Julia's supporters. On the TV screen, the newscasters have announced the outcome of the presidential election, too. I watch the winners and their families wave to a huge cheering crowd. I jump up and cheer, too, for Aunt Julia, for our democracy, and for the United States of America. And that's what happened today on Election Day. Pretty darn exciting, wouldn't you say? Oh my gosh, that was so cool, so exciting. Oh, I can't wait for our election day to come when I will get to be the Vice President of the United States of America. What? But Green Bear told me I was going to be his president. Oh, what, you mean Vice President? Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean, sorry. And Green Bear told me I would be his Vice President. Can there be two Vice Presidents? I don't think so. Could there be amendment to the Constitution to allow us to have two vice presidents? I think we would have to vote on that on another election day. In the meantime, I think Green Bear's got some explaining to do. Let's go find that Green Bear. Okay, well, while that election shenanigans get sorted out, I hope that you learned a lot on this election day. And remember, your voice counts. And it's important. I think one of the most important things that we learned in this book is to find out the facts, to listen to both candidates, be informed and knowledgeable, and know what matters to you so that you can be a smart voter. All right, kid? Voting for Kid Time Story Time, always a smart idea. You can do that by subscribing. And see you next time on Kid Time Story Time. Hooray!